being hard. I'm being hard.
But let me show you that, I mean, it's way more harder than what you think. If you can see down.
Perfect.
Welcome to the Auto Lust YouTube channel. And this video is supposed to be about the wonderful, I mean extremely cold temperatures of my new Interchiller, and actually how my new wastegates are over boosting the engine because they're holding way too much boost. So let's get into it. When I initially picked up the car, it was frozen, covered in ice. You know, the Interchiller job, which is right here. If you can see down there, that's the Interchiller right behind that little box, and you can see that the other cooler down below is also missing, because you have to take both of the old coolers out once you switched over to the intercooler, because once it goes through, the fluid goes through the intercooler, it's going to heat back up going through a traditional intercooler cooler. So we took those out. But anyways, I had custom fittings made, custom lines made to run to the top of the intercoolers, and I had custom AC hoses made. You know, it's a little, this black stuff is, I forgot what it's called, but it usually comes on like some of the HVAC lines and stuff, but I took it off to try to find out where the leak was from, you know, because the lines used to look like this. And they went from looking like that to looking like this.
And spray this one. Oh, that one good. Just that bottom.
So what we found out is this factory hose, which this block was custom fitted with the barb to accept this splice line here, you know, and I ripped it off here so I can make sure that this wasn't leaking. And this was perfect. This wasn't leaking at all. It was the factory hose that was leaking, you know. And there's only two reasons that factory hose right there can leak, you know, well maybe three. You know, one, it's old. I mean, my car is a 2015, so this hose was probably built around that time or before that time. So, you know, the crimp could be weak over time, or the hose was maybe twisted on mistake or something like that. But I've heard that it's gonna take an extreme twist or bend for that to loosen up that bad for it to leak, or it some type of blockage might be in the hose, and it's causing the fluid to back pressure and expand that hose to the point where it leaks, you know, which I don't think that's the problem, but we're going to get all of that checked out. But for the over boosting of the engine, let me tell you about that. What's happening is the turbos are over boosting. As of now, with my completely fully built car, I mean transmission, engine, extreme cooling mods and everything like that, you know, the stage 2 is only meant for 22 pounds of boost, and I think it's a 23 or 24 emergency cap. So if it goes over that, the car is going to think something's wrong with it, and it's going to throw itself into a drivetrain malfunction. So that's what it's doing, because my turbos, they're wanting to build 24 pounds of boost soon as you get on it, you know, and it's over boosting the tune, over boosting the engine. It's not meant to make that type of boost. So we're definitely going to have to get it tuned extremely fast, you know, way faster than I thought I was going to have to get it tuned. But as of right now, this second, we're gonna go ahead and head over to my engine builder, the M Doctor at Aguadilla Auto Repair, so we can find out exactly why this interchiller system is leaking on that hose and get it fixed. So let's go.
A few moments later.
So we here at the M Doctor, and I'm gonna show you guys why it's not easy to fix this problem I'm having. This is the exact same line that I have leaking. So most people would be like, oh, just take the line out, recrimp it, and then go about your business. But let me show you that, I mean, it's way more harder than what you think. If you can see down here, that line is tucked between the intake manifold and the engine block. You know, so there's no way you're gonna get a tool in that space to get that line off of this compressor. You know, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this wheel well out here, snatch the tire off, and pull the line down so we'll have more room to do this line right here. You know, then we can cut that end off, recrimp it, and send it back up. And that's the best way to do it, you know, because taking it off, you got to drop the subframe, drop the entire engine. So, you know, it's not worth doing. So that's the route we're gonna take.
3 days later.
So I got some good news, some really, really good news, hopefully, and I got some horrible bad news, man. It seems like every time I get here, I get knocked back here. So I mean, let me just show you what's going on. So as you can see, I got the hood popped. Let me turn this light on here. Turn it up a little bit. Okay, as you can see, this hose down here, this one I'm touching, that was the factory crimp that was leaking. That was the factory crimp that was leaking. And if you remember, this crimp up here had the same type of crimps as these from the forced induction interchiller. You know, so I had that AC line recrimp, which is hell taking it off of the car. So we took the wheel off, snatched the rear wheel out, the wheel well out, and pulled the hose through here, and they recut and recrimped it here on the car. You know, they brought the machine out and did it in the parking lot, which, you know, I'm very thankful for those guys. I can't remember the name of the place who did it, so I'm gonna ask them, my mechanic, and he's gonna let you know, he's gonna let me know, and I'll put the link down in the description. But they redid this hose and that hose, and this has to be replaced, but I think I'm gonna go with something else other than this foam rubber. You know, I meant this foam for that line. You know, but okay, that's the good part. You know, all of those lines has been replaced, and I gotta clean this stuff up because that little whatever it's called, that sticky rubber stuff was on it. Even though it didn't need to be, it was on it. So, you know, it looks a lot cleaner with just the way like the factory line look. So I'm gonna clean that up and, you know, leave it like that. But this is the bad part, gang. So when all of the Freon evacuated out of that line, it, you know, caused the compressor to lock up, because the compressor was still running, because the ambient, if it's on auto inside, which it wasn't on auto at all, you know, but if the compressor keeps running, it's, you know, with no Freon or oil in it or whatever, it'll blow itself up, you know, it'll lock the clutch up. And that's what happened, because the belt was popped and it was on the ground. So now I have to get an entire new compressor, and these compressors run about $1,300, sometimes up to $1,500. You can get a used one offline, but I mean, usually no warranty comes with a used one offline. So I don't know what I'm gonna do in this situation, you know. And then it's labor. The cheapest labor I found was $600 to put the compressor on. You know, and that's what one of the my trusted mechanics. You know, I have a few guys, you know, BMW certified, that I like touching my car. And the cheapest one was $600, you know, so that's around $2,000, you know, for something that shouldn't have happened anyways. But, you know, this factory line here, you know, it just started leaking out of nowhere, you know, and I mean, the car only had 60 something thousand miles on it, you know, so it's not like, I mean, the car is an older year. It's not like it's a 2020 or something like that. But the miles were low, and the car was always garage kept. So it's not like the hose were rotted or anything like that. Like, as you can see, this hose here is a factory line. And you see it's like soft and supple rubber when you can actually bend it and move it. You know, it's not like they're old lines or something like that. But, you know, I mean, it is what it is, you know. It's just like, it's just a setback, you know, and I got to spend a lot of money to fix it. Money that was supposed to be going on rear axles and tuning this car, you know. So now the car has no AC, and what is even worse is to put the interchiller in down here, you had to remove the factory cooler that used to cool the intercooler. So now it's nothing, literally nothing to cool the intercoolers but just whatever water's in here running through the intercoolers back in the loop. You know, it's nothing actually cool that loop down, because when it runs through the chiller, it's supposed to be refrigerant going through that chiller to cool the intercoolers down. You know, so now I have no AC, no way to cool my air charge, so the engine is going to be getting hot air boost, and no interchiller. So, you know, when something like that happen on a system like this, you lose 3 things. That's the only bad thing, you know. And I came a long way to get this car where it's at, just to go back, you know. So, I mean, it's aggravating, I mean, but it is what it is. So that's pretty much the dilemma that I'm in right now. Let me drop this camera a little bit. Yeah. Y'all, excuse my mop bucket. You know, even when my floor is not dirty, I mop every night. So that's why the mop bucket is always there. You know, I mop every night, you know, and I just don't put it up. So, you know, it is what it is. But that's the dilemma that I'm in as of right now, because I don't know how long it's gonna take me to get this problem fixed. Like I said, it's around $2,000 to get it fixed, you know, and that's not what I had planned to do with my car. You know, I had a set amount of money put to the side to, you know, do this build for the tune, the axles, the build. You know, the engine went all out of budget when I built the engine anyways, you know, because we did so much custom stuff and we ran into a bunch of problems that, you know, you couldn't foresee. You know, when you're doing the world's first anything, like that car has about 5 of the world's first ever on it for a BMW, you know, and some for a car in general. You know, so I mean, when you're doing stuff like that, it's not easy to, you know, get everything to go correctly. So outside of me doing YouTube with what you guys see, I do have a personal life too. You know, like I have a family, I got a, you know, a house. You know, my girl, she owns a food truck. You know, and we got a lot of stuff going on with that too. You know, like trying to get a new food truck, getting a new location and stuff like that. So it's not easy with me just putting stuff that makes a lot more money than my channel on hold for my channel. You feel what I'm saying? So, I mean, whenever it gets fixed, it'll get fixed, but I'm not in a rush to get it fixed, because it's always a downer, you know, that you know, put so much money in something and you keep running into problem after problem after problem after problem after problem. You know, I know 99% of you guys watching this video understand what I'm talking about. So, you know, I'm gonna keep you guys updated. You know, I'm gonna find out what's going on, what's the best route that I can go, you know, but I mean, it is what it is. So like, share, subscribe, and Auto Let's Stop.